choice is great because it offers competition and it offers flexibility, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. What we're very excited about now is looking at agentic commerce and how agentic commerce will change everything that we do and everything that our customers do. It's a whole new channel of acceptance. What we're doing is some of the hard work for them in connecting the dots and pre-integrating our solutions.
Hello and welcome to the Finance Insider, brought to you by Times Radio in partnership with Elavon. Today we're talking all about the role of technology in shaping the future of payments. We'll discuss how tech and finance are teaming up in smarter ways, from partnerships that spark new payment trends to the digital tools making everyday transactions faster, easier and more seamless for businesses and consumers. Joining us as today's Finance Insider, Elavon's Head of Tech Partners, Mellish. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You work in the world of payments and you've recently launched a global embedded payments partner team. Can you kind of talk me through what this means?
Yeah, absolutely. So put very simply, embedded payments is the integration or the connection between a payment acceptance capability and either a piece of hardware or a piece of software that a business might use to run their everyday needs.
So this is kind of the start of what Elavon is.
Absolutely. So we provide payment processing services and you can access those services in many different ways. What we want to make sure is that we're connecting ourselves in a really broad ecosystem and we're available to use and make accessible to small businesses, large businesses, wherever they might need us to be.
How does the machinery differ between these smaller and larger businesses?
That's a fantastic question because a larger business might employ a whole team of people who really are there to focus only on payments, and they'll look at everything from integrations to experiences that they want to create for their customers and the outputs of that. So how successful is it? A small business might not have that luxury. They don't have that capacity or that budget. So it's the role of embedded payments and payments businesses to really take on that hard work of connectivity for them and guide them through so that they can offer the same experiences that you and I as consumers and everybody now expects in the digital age.
So say if you get a new really small cafe, it's not franchise, it's a solo thing happening in London, they've reached out, they want Elavon. Do you actually send a team over to their cafe to show them how this technology works, or is it all kind of easy to do online?
I think the really important thing is that there's a range of options depending on what that particular business needs. So if they want to be managed totally digitally and they want to self-serve and they want to do it all online in their own time, there's that option and that's available for them. If they do want a little bit more hand-holding and they actually want to talk to somebody who can help them understand what the range of options are, and perhaps it's the first time that they've accepted payments, then there's that option too. Alternatively, they might have already been out and bought a piece of hardware, a till system, for example, and then they think about adding payments later. And then we really need to make sure that we've done the work of connecting ourselves to those payment systems so that they can easily turn us on.
What can we expect from the development of this team and why do you think it matters?
What we're really excited to do is to continue making sure that we're really well connected in an ever expanding ecosystem, and then B, really look at what other types of products and services we can embed or connect to our partner companies, so that we're not just offering payment acceptance, but then we're saying what else could really help and benefit the businesses that we work with. Well, perhaps that's reconciliation. Maybe it's a link into the accountancy platform that they already use. Perhaps it's help with payouts. Maybe they need to make payments as well as being able to accept them. Perhaps there's a potential fraud issue, or perhaps there's some digital banking needs as well. So we're looking at wider opportunities to help and support businesses through deeper integrations.
So it starts as them reaching out, wanting to be involved in Elavon, wanting, to the machinery and the payment system, and it ends up being more of a advisory.
Absolutely, yeah, and it can start in many different ways. It can start from that end customer example, reaching out and wanting to kind of accept payments in their coffee shop or bar or whatever it might be, or it could start much further up the chain, potentially with a technology platform, with ISV, an independent software vendor, a piece of technology that is launching, and they know that their customers are ultimately going to need to accept a payment, so they're looking at how they build their ecosystem out before they even go to market.
How does a partnership like yours between a payment company and software platforms benefit businesses?
What it enables us to do is offer small businesses the same access to choice and flexibility of payment options that a large business will have, because what we're doing is some of the hard work for them in connecting the dots and pre-integrating our solutions. It also means that we are reducing the amount of friction, and we're reducing the cost of ownership for any business that wants to use our products and services. So they no longer have to maintain 5 or 6 different integrations. They can maintain one integration. They can concentrate on running their business and knowing that everything is cooperating with each other in the background.
Payments can be overwhelming for new businesses, but also existing businesses. What advice would you give businesses when they're looking for a payments partner, especially when they're trying to level up?
Yeah, there's so much choice out there, and choice is great because it offers competition and it offers flexibility, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. What I would advise is to make sure that a business is really looking at what their individual needs are, and that might look different depending on where they are in the life cycle of their business. Potentially it's just, I need to get this up and running very quickly. What works? How can I turn it on today? Or it could be cash flow is really important to me. How am I going to make sure I get the money that I take from my customer into my account as soon as possible? Whatever those priorities are, there'll be something in the market that lends itself to them. And then as you grow, those needs might change. So I would really encourage everybody to think about how their needs have changed as they have grown.
When you have a new business come to you, whether it's big or small, and they've already been with a payments provider, whether it's a competitor of yours or not, and they want something new, what are they telling you on why they're changing to you? What's kind of the common, I guess, struggle, challenge, or problem that they ran into before?
Yeah, I don't think there's a single common thread. There's so many, 99% of the businesses in the UK and Ireland are small businesses, and they each have their own complex and individual needs. But I think there are some themes there. What we typically see is that the startup, very eager to get going, they will, they'll have a platform that they use, and they'll just select the first payment provider that's integrated to that platform. That's great. They get up and running there and then. But maybe a year or 2 years later, they just become a little bit more sophisticated, and they realize that, okay, that was really easy to set up, but there's some pitfalls here. And again, it's really about understanding what is important for them. I speak to a lot of customers who, love that there's access to digital self-serving because they're really busy. They don't want to be, tied to kind of somebody on the phone. But then, every now and then, actually, they have a question, they need some advice, they are in that next stage of growth, and they want to pick up the phone and speak to someone. So making sure that you're just checking in and remembering that you do have optionality and looking at what you need.
Well, on the note of needing that human interaction of calling up the company to say, hey, this is what I need, how do you think AI will fit into the story of embedded payments?
Yeah, we're using AI in lots of different touch points across our business, right the way from onboarding a customer, making sure that they can get up and running super quick. About 80% of our customers are up and running and accepting payments the same day. And we're leveraging AI capabilities to make sure that that's a possibility. Through to digital self-servicing, making sure that we can triage customers to make sure that by the time they get through to someone, it's the person who can help them and resolve their query the first time. And that's a really exciting evolution for us, I guess, internally or operationally. And what we're very excited about now is looking at agentic commerce and how agentic commerce will change everything that we do and everything that our customers do. It's a whole new channel of acceptance.
Elavon's Head of Tech Partners, Michelle Mellish, thank you very much. That's all we have time for on this edition of the Finance Insider, brought to you by Times Radio and Elavon. See you next time.